Yes, Anshika? No,
Yes, ma'am.
no. Yes, we can start.
Okay, thank you. A very good morning to one and all. Thank you for joining us on World Water Day 2021, a day where we focus on a particular aspect of fresh water and commit towards taking actions. Today, I, Anshika Gubrele, a third year BLLB student on behalf of Bharatiya Vidya Peeth, deemed to be University, New Law College Pune's Environmental Cell, welcome you all in our webinar on World Water Day and role of youth. Before we move further, I'm profusely overjoyed to welcome our chief guest, retired Colonel Shashikant Dalvi Sir, National Coordinator for Water Conservation. I further extend my greetings towards Principal Ma'am, Dr. Bhagyashree M. Deshpande Madam, and all other learned faculties who have joined us for this webinar. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Colonel Shashikant Dalvi Sir. Sir has served with the Indian Army from the year 1969 to 2002. As a young officer, he led troops in enemy territory during the 1971 war to liberate Bangladesh. He was also involved in cutting-edge technological achievements to enable defense machinery to operate at sub-zero temperatures in high altitudes. Post-retirement, he implemented Pune city's first rooftop rainwater harvesting project in 2003 in his housing society. This resulted in a tanker water-free society which saved cost and improved the water table in the area of Viman Nagar, Pune. After that, he started spreading awareness on water conservation through his organization Sparajanya. Sir has also spread awareness through seminars, lectures, and workshops in schools, colleges, community centers, corporate events, and industry. In July 2017, he addressed members of parliament on rainwater harvesting in metropolitan cities. In parliament, it was well appreciated by all. Sir has been the recipient of multiple awards and recognitions from organizations from all walks of life. On 26 January, Sir was also felicitated for his work in the field of groundwater recharge using rainwater harvesting methods, especially in rural areas, organized under Mission Pani by CNN 18. I would now invite Sir to deliver his remarks and enlighten us with his words of knowledge. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anshika. Very kind words. And now you can share the screen with me. Can you see the slides?
No, sir.
You can't see the slides. Something is gone wrong somewhere. Let us check. Let us check. You shared the screen with me.
Yes, sir.
You have shared the screen. So what I'm supposed to do? 1 minute. Again, go back. I'm supposed to press on the share the screen, isn't it? Button?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then now can you see?
No, sir.
Still you can't see. Where is wrong? Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Unable to get onto that. Share the screen.
हाँ तो उस पर टैप करके शेयर
कर दिया था मैंने.
वो शेयर का बटन नीचे है.
हाँ.
अरे उधर नहीं, उधर एक शेयर का बटन है ना, उस पर
ओहो. Okay.
यहाँ से मैक्सिमाइज करना उसको करना है.
Asan?
Yes, sir.
Can you see now?
Yes, sir. Now we can. Now it is visible. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Chalo, thank God. Okay.
बार फिर से टैप करो, वो हुआ नहीं.
Okay. Let us start. Good morning, friends. Thank you for giving me opportunity to share my experience with all of you, especially the young ones. But it is for them. Today is the World Water Day. Since 1993, United Nations has initiated this program to spread awareness about the very valuable natural resource on the planet, that is water. Friends, it's very, very important to note we talk about the food security, we talk about the health security, we talk about the economic security, all. And for all that, you require water. Without water, it is just not possible. In this particular year, the theme for the World Water Day, every year they've got a different theme. And this year theme is valuing the water, both environmentally, socially, and culturally. We all of us, in Indian culture, we treat rivers especially, or all the water bodies as our mother. Ganga Maiya karke pukarte hain. But that is only for the namesake. After that, all these river water bodies become our favorite dumping grounds. Whether we have to immerse our idols or flower offerings, anything, you name anything, building construction going on, next door is a water body, dump the rada in that particular thing. So this is how we value the most precious commodity on this planet. Let us see. We go one by one and let us see how best. Now, what is the present crisis? Obviously, on this planet, everybody is aware. This is something I'm just brushing up your knowledge. This planet is known as the aqueous planet. Means, in Hindi or Marathi, it's called Panidar Grah. Means, once our journey to space started and the initial photographs of the planet Earth was taken, you notice that it's a completely blue planet. Like Mars looks maroon or red color. Venus looks absolutely white. So similarly, this indicating that there is a water on this planet. And precisely 75% of the Earth's surface is covered with 97% of the water which is available on this. Out of the available water on this planet, 97% is in the oceans that occupy 75% of the planet. So despite all this, only 1% is the fresh water. The 97% goes into sea. Balance 1% each is on your both the polar caps, and 1% is which is fresh water. We can visually see. Now, what is the problem with availability of water? Population is going very rapidly, very, very rapidly. Since independence, India's population, friends, has increased by 100 crores. In last century, world population increased by 4 times. Now, water is same. Quantum of water on this planet Earth has remained same and will remain same. There is no provisions to place a demand on Almighty to increase population, but kindly increase our rainfall, kindly give us additional rivers. Not possible. It is just cannot be imagined also. So what is happening with the availability of water? As far as India is concerned, since 1951 till 2014, 71% of the availability of water per person per year is gone. Obviously, why it is gone, subsequently we'll come to know about it. That means it is not available to us. And as far as the availability of water index world over is concerned, we stand at 133. So this is what is our condition is. We do not have water, but we haven't realized it. Ask yourself, are we giving care towards this? Because in the city especially, पैसा फेंको तमाशा देखो वाली कहानी, पानी नहीं है टैंकर मंगाओ, तो वो नहीं है डग a borewell. Because in India you do not have to take a permission to dig a borewell, and you take out the water. But least realizing पानी आएगा कहाँ से, इतना ही पानी तो है. And mind you, this is how the availability is day by day decreasing. And presently, the water availability, which was in 19 after independence, it was almost 5,000. 5,177 cubic meters per person per year. Today it has come down to less than 1,500. And if it touches 1,000, it's a called critical point. That means whole country becomes the water crisis. Water crisis is in the country. We are approaching. It's nothing big about it. Because by 2030, the India's water demand will be double than the present supply position. Imagine water. Mind the words. Demand will increase double. The demand will double, whereas than the present supply condition. From where we are going to get the water? That is a big issue. Now, along with this, we know surface water, which can be seen visually. And then there is also groundwater. I always call groundwater as a recurring deposit by Mother Earth for all the beings on this planet. For millions of years, this continued very nicely. Came on this planet an animal known as a human being. And everything started, changing very rapidly. 250 years back, more than that rather, the industrial revolution started on this planet. And obviously, then when the industrial revolution started, that is what we are seeing. I'm able to speak to you sitting at my home. The entire revolution started taking place, and that requires energy, friends. So that requires energy. So what happened with this is a complete groundwater, which was a recurring deposit every year during the rainy season, during the monsoon and throughout the year rainy season. 35 to 40% of the monsoon water or rainfall is to percolate down and maintain the underground aquifers. जितने भी नीचे झरने हैं, whatever water available below the ground was replenished every year. Today, because of all these years, every city, rapid urbanization means concretization, buildings coming up, everything. That means the naked soil is no more there. As a result, the percolation rates, if I'm talking about Pune, because we're sitting in Pune, it has come down to from 35% to barely 5 to 7%. कहाँ से जाएगा? Recurring deposit now is not being permitted by us. जो हमारे लिए recurring deposit Mother Nature was making it, we are preventing it. But at the same time, we are taking out from that deposit water regularly. From our side also, we are not able to put anything. We do not permit Mother Nature to put anything, and neither we do the rainwater harvesting and start doing the recharging. So groundwater crisis is increasing rapidly. Niti Aayog says that last year they said by 2020, 21 major cities will have a groundwater zero status. It is a bad situation. It is happening across the board. They name it because of the major city. If you talk about Delhi, Mumbai, people will remember. But if you start talking about Kagal, Kolhapur, people may not remember it. It is happening across the board, gentlemen. It's not only restricted to. So groundwater crisis is very high. And then followed by water pollution. 70% of the surface water in this country known as India is completely polluted. you'd name any river in Maharashtra, all the rivers are polluted. All the water bodies are polluted. So, and what happens with the pollution, water body polluted? Every day, almost 2,000 people die in India because of cholera. And cholera is waterborne disease. All of us are aware of that. Besides that, more than 6.5 lakh children die every year due to waterborne diseases because of polluted water. So, gentlemen, the situation is not very rosy to begin with. But that is what is we should paint. I don't want to paint a rosy picture for you. Now, when we talk about the groundwater, the industrial revolution, every year, every day, we hear in the paper or everywhere that yes, the planet's. By the way, what is the planet's ambient temperature? Planet Earth's ambient temperature is 15 degrees centigrade. And we talk about we want to restrict this rise in temperature after the green revolution, the industrial revolution, to less than between 1.5 and 2, preferably 1.5 degrees centigrade. Gentlemen, we are already at 1.15 degrees centigrade. Now, how this is increasing? Naturally, like I mentioned to you, for the industrial revolution, everything, whatever you are seeing here on the screen, is because of this, we are achieving the economic growth. But everything of that, you require energy. And energy presently is being supplied by fossil fuel. Started with coal, then we got the crude oil, and subsequently we started using that. So as it all started, you use 1 liter of petrol or diesel in any form, anywhere. It generates more than 2.5 kgs of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. So imagine, let us go back to Pune. Pune has got, for the population of 6 million, that is 60 lakh, we've got 50 lakh vehicles. Even if you use 1 liter of petrol or diesel fuel, you find more than 15,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide is generated every day in Pune's atmosphere because of the using of this vehicle. Only 1 liter petrol or diesel. So no wonder Pune is amongst first, one of the few less than 10 numbers. We are also air polluted in a big way. So this is now what happens with this. We have been told in the school days that carbon dioxide is absorbed by trees. Trees are known as oxygen bar because they generate oxygen. Now, I only give you talking about 50 lakh vehicles. I did never consider about any other aspect, construction, industry, how much they generate carbon dioxide. I haven't touched upon that. That is not issues of today's talk. So what is happening in this world, if you see the planet, it is equivalent of 500,000, that is 5 lakh Hiroshima type of atomic bombs exploded every day for 365 days a year. Imagine the amount of warming taking place, energy is being created, where that is going to go. Because as the city started growing, first casualty was trees. Trees has to be cut to make a way for roads, construction, development of cities, you name anything, and the first thing is cut is tree. So naturally, no trees, the carbon dioxide emission absorption is less. Just give me a few seconds only. How much we require oxygen? We require 140 kgs of oxygen per year for a human being to survive. And 740 kgs of oxygen is required per year. Now, how much one tree generates oxygen per year? 100 kg. So you require minimum 8 trees per person. Pune's population is 60 lakh. Simple calculation, you require more than almost close to 5 crore trees. Have we got? No. It is about 36, 38 lakh trees. So that is a condition. That is so good or bad, whatever you can take it accordingly. Now, 90% of the heat trapped when it goes into the ocean, what we have seen that now. And because of that, ocean waters are warming up. It is 40% faster than what the scientists are expecting. It is so bad. But what happened with that? I'm not talking about marine life, how it is affected, or coral reefs. Again, not today's topic, some other day. Now, we are more concentrated today on the World Water Day. So what happens as the monsoon, all those people who are probably above 40 or so, my generation, I don't think anybody would be listening today, but monsoon in Maharashtra or in India used to start around about first week of June or by 10th of June. Mriga Nakshatra used to start. And it religiously, we used to have a rainfall till Tulsi Sa Lagna, what we call in Marathi, that is the end of Diwali session in Maharashtra. Religiously, everything was going on tick-tick-boo for millions of years. But again, we are responsible because the industrial revolution started. The ocean is warming up. Because of the warming ocean, the complete water cycle, monsoon cycle is totally disturbed. Now, what happens with the disturbed cycle? You are saying nowadays we are facing most of the time in Maharashtra in the February, March, or January, February, we are visited by hailstorms. And again, the farmers are at big loss. Floods are increasing, droughts are increasing, hailstorms are increasing, shift in monsoon cycle, you name anything. Last to last year, you had two major sea storms hitting us. The one in Maharashtra and another in the Bengal coast. It is increasing very rapidly, friends, because again, because of the global warming, rapid global warming. So, but beauty of it, Pune receives 750 millimeters of rainfall, annual average. But now, rainfall is shifted, monsoon cycle is shifted, but within the short span now, you're still getting 750 millimeters of rainfall. The very heavy rainfall in a short period of time. We do not recognize, analyze this, but this is what practically happening. But that again causes a damage. So let us come back to again the normal geographical knowledge, which is just want to brush up. Like I mentioned to you, what you should remember is the amount of water on this planet is constant. It will not change. Moment it starts changing, that means the cover of the atmospheric cover, which is Kavach Kundli for this particular planet, is ruptured. Then naturally everything will go out. We won't be there. We will become something like Mars or Moon or any other planet. So this is water cycle. Again, class 4, class 5 probably has taught to us how it happens. It is now disturbed, but that's all right. But that's how it happens. Now, who all are users of the water? We should know this thing also. Basically, 3 users. That is agriculture. For our 3 square meals for a human being, at least those who are above poverty line. I'm not talking about below poverty line, because they don't even get 1 square meal. What to talk about 3 square meals? So 3 square meals, to prepare those 3 square meals right from the seed onto your plate, you require 2,000 liters of water. Imagine, wherever you require water. So agriculture consumes all over the world around 70 to 72% of the available fresh water. Now, industry, naturally, industrial revolution has started. So even a small nano car requires 9 metric tons of water to prepare it. So everything, name anything and you'll find, if you go back and you'll find how much water is required. So balance is 8 to 10% is for you and me. Now, what is sad thing is that every time all the central government ministers or the prime ministers, every time they say that more crop per drop. Unfortunately, sadly, it is not happening. We are still into that cycle of having, though it is changing, of cash crops. than the crops which are ideally suited to our geographical and temperature and climatic conditions. Okay, that is again the sad part of it. Now, if you compare to India, how much rainfall you get? You get good amount of rainfall, 1120 millimeters if you compare with the world average, which is about 860 millimeters of rainfall. In India, it is highly skewed. Pune receives 750. You travel 350, about 200 kilometers up north, and you'll find Mumbai, 2,500 millimeters of rainfall. You go down south towards south, say again 200, less than 200 kilometers, and you hit Ahmednagar, it's 350 millimeters of rainfall. In Rajasthan, Jaisalmer, Barmet, it is 125 millimeters of rainfall annually. We are talking about annual figure. So it is highly skewed, but still we survive. There is no doubt about it. Now, fresh water, like I mentioned to you, only 1% on this planet, and our share is only 4% out of that 1%. Whereas population share is, now we are closing towards almost 20%. These are old data, but now it's closing to us. So there is a total mismatch. कायदे से 20% population, 20% हमारे पास पानी होना चाहिए, वो नहीं है, हो नहीं सकता है. Now, when we talk about rainwater harvesting, it is something new? No. Gentlemen, it's not new. Absolutely not new. Indians were known always, were known as the world's oldest rainwater harvesters. If I go back into the history, and you can check it from this particular slide, about 6,500 before 6,500 years back, that is 4,500 BC, in Rajasthan area, people, our ancestors were using rainwater for their basic needs. If you come closer, say about 1600, when Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj ruled Maharashtra, you'll find all his forts were on the hilltops. The forts were on hilltops. People were staying there. The soldiers, their families, animals, farming, everything was there. From where the water came? Using rainwater harvesting. Till such time, tap has not reached our residences. We were giving respect to the mother nature. Today, we give respect to Pune Municipal Corporation or local body government. पानी आया नहीं आज पेपर में आता है कल पानी नहीं आएगा. We are scared. कल पानी नहीं आएगा भाई इकट्ठा करके रखो. We have forgotten about what mother nature gives you. Go to that also. How much water is authorized to you, by the way? As per WHO standards, which are adopted by most of the countries, is we are supplied with 135 liters per day per person. Keep in mind only two figures, that is bathing 20 liters and washing, that is washing your clothes, washing your utensils, is 45 liters, so total 65 liters, because this particular quantity is converted into grey water or sand pani in Marathi. In the 65 liters is converted every day per person. Very important figure. As we go ahead, we'll talk about that. Just to give you information, in the rural sector, the amount of water authorized per villager is 55 liters per day per person. Now, Pune rivers, there are totally 5 rivers. I always quote 3 rivers because Mula, Mutha, Pauna, and Ram Nadi and Dev Nadi. Dev Nadi is already dead. Ram Nadi is on the verge of dying. There are Jivit Nadi organization in Pune. They are fighting tooth and nail to at least ensure that Ram Nadi is kept alive. Mula, Mutha, Pauna, let us talk less because those who have visited this river, you have to put your handkerchief on your nose because they are dirty, they're stinking dirty. Now, these are the natural reservoirs, natural water assets for us. Besides, of course, is your primary source of this water is rainfall. Man-made is, of course, dams, bore wells, and open wells. We've got 4 dams, Panchet, Khadakwasta, Varasgaon, and Temgarh. Now, out of that, only Khadakwasta provides us water. From other 3 dams, we pull in some water because water is required for industry and domestic and the industry, agriculture as well. Now, what is the present status as per the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board? It is very bad. PMC, PCMC areas, all those rivers, going through it. What? Because all the domestic sewage, Malamutra, untreated, 55% is only treated in Pune. Rest goes into the, as it is, goes into the water bodies. Same thing goes with the industry, that is industrial effluents and agriculture runoffs. So naturally, all the rivers in Maharashtra are highly polluted. I told you about groundwater because if I'm not getting 135 liters per day per person, I will buy either a tanker water or dig a borewell and pump out the water. I will not be bothered about whether I should put some water inside or not. But what we treat is, हवा मिलती है हमें जितनी चाहिए खींच लो यार, क्या problem है? As long as my lungs are capable of pulling in water, I am alive. Similarly, I'll get water. And नहीं है तो पुनः म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन दे, नहीं है तो खरीद लो. Arrogance, absolute arrogance. So what the government, central government keeps saying, we should not feel proud about this particular. We are the annual extraction, we are highest. You can see the first two lines. The annual extraction of groundwater in the country is by highest in the world. Because 85% of the rural, the drinking water schemes totally depend upon groundwater. 65% of irrigation still depends upon the groundwater. Of course, industry depends upon groundwater. And even cities, like we are digging bore wells and taking out the water. So 65% we still depend upon cities also. कहाँ से आएगा पानी? So naturally, world over 25% we are pumping out all over the world. China and America together, they only pump out 18% of the. They know the importance of the groundwater. So if you go to the last paragraph, you will find it is categorically mentioned that all the residential housing complexes, anything, industrial establishments, you name everything, they must adopt rooftop rainwater system in their premises. That is how I mentioned initially that UGC, that is University Grants Commission and All India Council of Technical Education, has made it mandatory for all the institutions under their wings to have mandatory rooftop rainwater harvesting system under the Catch the Rain mission. So why this water crisis? Here's why the water crisis is domestic sewage. We have just discussed about it. Unequal water distribution. Obviously, even you can say yes. सब कहाँ से पानी आएगा सबको देने के लिए? City is increasing, very rapidly increasing city. So about a year and a half back, 25 new villages were entered into the TMC limit. So now again, TMC has to, Pune Municipal Corporation has to, in that increased population has to provide them with the daily quota of their water. They have to cater for their solid waste management, traffic, security, everything. From where? Pani kahan se aayega? So automatically, Thane or other areas which are far-flungs, where you people are staying, many of you may be staying, like Viman Nagar or Wagholi, Kesnan, all these areas are getting much less water, almost about 60 to 80 liters per day per person. So again, because they are not getting their quota, they are taking water from some other resources. Now, large amount of water is lost in transportation. That means from Khadakwasla Dam to your house. The water has to travel, isn't it? And then first halt is at the filtration plant, and then next halt is at for the corporation tanks in your area, and then to your house. Now, the pipes are very old. Central Water Commission in their report says almost 40% of the water is lost in transportation in India. So it is man-made crisis. We have created, we are responsible for this. If you go to a nearest board office, ask them, sir, itna pani waste ho raha hai, naye pipe kyun nahi dalte? And listen to the answer and tell me what they say. There is no water conservation policy. Those of you who have traveled abroad must have visited. You might not have visited their government officials, but you must have heard from your relatives who are staying there. In most of the developed nations, gentlemen, there are water conservation policies. They do not permit to wash their cars by the corporation water, criminal offense. Pune, again, go back to the figure of 50 lakh vehicles. Even if you use 2 liters of water per day to clean one vehicle, any type of, maybe 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler, 4-wheeler, truck, bus, anything, it amounts to using or wasting 1 crore liters of water, which is the daily requirement of more than 80,000 Pune citizens. And why should we cry hoarse about water crisis? हम ही ऐसा इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं पानी जिसकी जरूरत नहीं है, फिर भी हम इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. Similarly, as far as your own household, or we go to the hotel, you order food, snacks, whatever it is, he gives you a glass full of water. You consume some and left. That is not used again because it's a bhuta pani. We throw it out. Somebody comes, you are in my house, we offer them water. Pani thoda sa pee leta hai, bach jata hai, phek dete. Why can't we store that water in a small bucket in your home, in the house? Use it for pocha, for wiping the floor, or watering the plants, or cleaning your vehicles or other articles. And we can do it. Unfortunately, we are not doing it. And like somebody had asked me, the rainwater harvesting policy, I subsequently come when the policies were, but we are not implementing the rainwater harvesting policies. Because of that, Pune has got, PMC has got 18,000 registered societies, housing societies I'm talking about, side independent bungalows, etc. Now, Pune Municipal Corporation has made a policy in 2007. If you do rainwater harvesting, we'll give you 5% property tax rebate. Suppose our society has got 57 flats. Since we are done, so every flat owner gets 5% property tax rebate in their property tax bill annually. So how many people have done? Pune Municipal Corporation only gives concession to 4,500 societies only. That is about 25%. Rest haven't done. That much of water is wasted. Water wars, let's talk the better. I don't want to dwell on this. It is happening across the board. Those of you keep a track, because you are youngsters, you may not be knowing what is happening. But let me quote you a small example. It's not small, it's a big. About 6 years back, Zaikodi Dam in Marathwada is the biggest earthen dam in Asia. Now that dam was always having a water problem. So they approached High Court, and High Court gave the instructions to Nasik and Nagar Dam in Maharashtra to release 10% of the existing quota at that time to that Zaikodi Dam, so that people in that area can survive. Immediately people came on the road from Nagar and Nasik. They said, "Hum ek pani ka boond bhi nahi denge." What the hell? So again, High Court has to intervene and put the police all along the canal. So where is this is a war. Why talk about Indo-Pak, the water problems, or now there's the Brahmaputra, on the Brahmaputra river in China, they're putting up dams, so water coming in will be there. It will have another war. Forget about it. Now, state government GR of 2002, February 2002, named as the Shivakalin Pani Satwan Yojana, makes it mandatory for all the government and public buildings to have rooftop rainwater. I'm a member of National Society for Clean Cities in Pune. Getting started in Pune. Now, since 2003, after seeing the experience and seeing this particular Shivakalin Pani Satwan Yojana, we were, through our NSSC, were pressing the Pune Municipal Corporation. Why they got more than 1,000 buildings now? Why don't you implement rainwater harvesting so that much huge quantity of water will go underground and everybody will get more water will be available. Availability will increase. 2017, ultimately, some sensible commissioner invited me and said, "Colonel Sahib, help us to implement rainwater harvesting system on 74 of their buildings. Those who are Pune is like Bal Gandharva Theatre, Yashwantrao Chauhan Theatre, Dalvi Hospital, Aidu Hospital, like that, 74 of their buildings. In 2 years, it was completed by 2019 May, and now 5,000 crore liters of uh, uh, rooftop rainwater is channelized into the groundwater. Big achievement. But the rest of the buildings are just like that. If you go to any place, wherever you are staying, go to the ward office and ask him, आपके यहाँ की कोई ward office की building में rainwater harvesting किया है क्या? He will answer, will tell me the answer. Now, small things about water conservation. I hope I'm not right. Now, even if you say one drop by drop per second, the amount, if it's not corrected properly, 10,000 liters goes waste. Now, water table in Pune is dropping by almost 3 to 5 meters per year. It's a bad situation. And then we say कि नीति आयोग says कि नीति आयोग बोल रहा है पानी खत्म हो जाए. But what you and me are doing after listening to that? Nothing. Sad water. Now, let us see what is rainwater harvesting. We are talking about rainwater harvesting. So let's see what is rainwater harvesting. Simple. There is a rooftop catchment area. Pani should not stagnate on your rooftop. So there is a pipe provided by the builder. But water from rooftop comes down. That's the end of it. And it flows onto surface, goes onto the road or the stormwater drains and washes up. What we are supposed to do? Mother Nature has given you rainfall, which I mentioned. So if I ask you, आपके यहाँ कितना पानी होता है? Somebody says, sir, हमारे यहाँ मुंबई से ज़्यादा होता है, 750 millimeters rainfall होता है. What does it mean? It means that on a catchment area, like a rooftop or a jameen or a farmland or a road, in Pune, you receive 75,000 liters of water annually. If I go to Mumbai, where the rainfall is 2,500 millimeters of rainfall, there you receive on the same 1,000 square feet, 250,000 liters of water. So where is the water shortage? Mother Nature giving you. She must be crying. Look, कैसा आदमी मैंने पैदा किया, कैसा एनिमल है. तो पानी दे भी देती हो, तो भी इसका इस्तेमाल नहीं करता. It's a sad thing, friends. We really sad. When I involved in this, maybe ऐसा ही था. में था तभी भी, पर आने के बाद मैंने रियलाइज किया कितना इंपॉर्टेंस है, कितना पोटेंशियल है, and we were not using. Okay, anyway, since I know it, I have become wiser, so I am trying to make you wiser. Now this, through the filter, is directly connected to through the borewell into the underground aquifer. That's the end of it. It's not a rocket technology. The simplest, बिल्कुल ground level technology. कुछ भी नहीं है इसमें. फिर भी हम नहीं करते. I don't know why. Some of you PhD students can work on this and find out why people don't do it. Jokes apart. Now, this is what it is. When we started up in 2003 in our society, by then the water table was at 225 feet and yield was half an hour a day. Nothing. So we were buying 3 tankers a day throughout the year. When we did this, and every year 9 lakh liters of water from our rooftop, 12,000 square feet, started going. From 2003 onwards, we became tanker water. And today, our water table stands at 60 feet and yield is 10 to 12 hours a day. 4 दिन corporation का कभी पानी नहीं आता, तो we are happy. Because Mother Nature has hold her hand, our hands. Because we quenched her thirst by providing her water, which she was doing for us during good old days when there was no concretization. So we started doing that, which everybody should do. That is what it is. So let us see. Why to harvest rain? रामायण तो पढ़ लिया अभी हमने, तो बाकी बताने की जरूरत नहीं है. It makes sense. It's a prudence. पानी मिल रहा है. You are getting a free water. 100% soft water is given to you on your rooftops. Why you can't do it? Why can't you use it? And on top of it, the local body government gives you incentive. 5% property tax all throughout your life. What else you want? And if you go and check up whenever the tanker comes to your society or a neighboring any place, just please climb up and have a look at that particular tanker from inside. And you will find, friends, it is dirty. It is rusted from, body is rusted from inside. It's dirty. We pay 1,500, 2,000 rupees per tanker of 10,000 liters. Imagine. And the water is going west from our rooftop. Total lag. Okay? That is how we say that adequate rainfall is there in wherever you stay. Use it. Components I showed you. Catchment area, conveyance and storage. Nothing big. Catchment areas can be, like I mentioned, to rooftop, paved, unpaved areas, water bodies, storm water drains. Nothing much. Everything is known to us. Friends. Only thing is that सब कुछ पता है, करते नहीं है. Water storage is the best part. Is Mother Earth gives you water on your head, and she says, "Okay, कोई बात नहीं, ऊपर का पानी ले आओ, मेरे पास ही storage है आपके लिए." Because the underground aquifers on which your borewell is there or open well is there, acts as a beautiful the storage for yourself. Throughout the year, you can use it. She gives you everything for you. So water storage, if there are certain places where there are no underground aquifers, bore wells cannot be taken, so then you use syntax tanks or construct another tank and use it. People are doing that. Now, there are certain pictures which I just wanted to show you how it is done. It's not your society buildings or office college buildings will have this is, of course, this is where I have done few buildings I have shown you. And depends upon the design stage, depends upon the type of a society, type of topography, etc. Now, these type of buildings are all over India, slanting roofs, old type of buildings. This is Army Public School in Pune cantonment. So you use a different technique, like horizontal filters are used there. Otherwise, the technique remains same. Now, we come to the role of youth. What you are supposed to do, friends. Now, because it is your life, those who are students of global warming, climate change, or otherwise also keeping interest in that, must have heard, it's all started with 2015, when something known as COP21, that is 21st Conference of Parties, took place in Paris. 193 countries participated, all countries on this planet participated because conditions were very bad. Still they are bad, worse now, as a matter of fact. And we took an oath. We decided, rather, it is not mandatory, but we decided that we must reduce our dependency on fossil fuel. That we by 2025. Now it has gone to 2050. We are increasing because we haven't yet switched over to the renewable energy sources. So what we did that time, it was told by the scientists that if we do not give heat and reduce the global warming, by 2030, 1.5 degrees centigrade rise in temperatures will be achieved, which I mentioned to, now it is 1.15. 0.35 by then, if it's increased, then you will find that it is unimaginable events will take place. They are taking place. You must be reading floods. Nowadays, floods are taking place in Australia. Very heavy snowfall is affecting the America. Everywhere is forest fire. I was in Australia, my son stays there, and I have seen myself 2 months forest fires, more than 1 billion animals died. It's a koala, it's a kangaroo, anybody. It is happening, gentlemen, it is happening. ये अभी ट्रेलर है, शो अभी बाकी है दोस्त, और वो हो रहा है सामने. Why I am more interested in you? Because you are a youth, you are students. You're hardly 20, 22, or maybe some of you post-graduation. It is your life, friends. Under 10 years, you'll be in prime youth. And if we do not concentrate, आप लोग बोलते हैं मुझे, मैं कई स्टूडेंट से बात कर, सर हमने तो अपना पढ़ाई भी करनी है। अगर इतने लेवल पे वो हो जाएगा, टेम्परेचर राइज होगा, पढ़ाई किस काम की? यू विल फाइंड इट टेम्परेचर्स आर शूटिंग अप। When I first came to Pune after 1972, 71 operation के बाद, I came to Pune, posted in Pune. That time, Pune highest temperature used to be 32 degrees. Now it is 43 and 44 के पास जाते हैं. Pune was a non-fan station, friends. There was no fans in the market, no fans in our houses, in your offices, nowhere. It was a non-fan station. I'm talking about 72. And in less than 50 years, what is happening today? It's bad. We cannot survive other than AC because global warming is increasing very rapidly, friends. So, padhai karo, try and do something so that this is a role which comes in. Now, we have said, and few days back, Man Ki Baat, our Prime Minister had said that the youth, especially for next 100 days. Why 100 days? I'll tell you. We must clean our neighborhood water bodies and resort to rainwater harvesting. And yesterday, for the global warming, he announced under the Catch the Rain mission, he said that all of us must do rainwater harvesting. Catch the rain where it falls. Where it is a roadside, then your stormwater drains are there. Make the recharge pits in the stormwater drains so that water flowing will go down and groundwater table is raised. If it is on a roof, then use it, raise the groundwater table and meet your water demands. That is what is, and you have seen how simple it is. So spread awareness about these things. Water conservation, we just spoke about water conservation. In your own house, you can stop. You know, there is one gentleman, I think, I forgot his name. He's, I think, 80-year-old in Bombay. In Mission Pani, when I was felicitated on 26 January, he too was there. I had discussion with him. And mind you, every come summer, by April, May, and he goes around South Bombay where he stays with 2 plumbers, goes to everybody's flat, checks their taps, repairs it for free, their taps, and ensures that not a drop is wasted or not drop is leakage. You are supposed to do that now, not that 80-year-old man. Do it. Start from your own house. Do it in your own, and mind you, maintain a log. You should maintain a log. Yes. Today, I saved half a glass of water. Feel proud about it. And next year, 2022 Global World Water Day, check what you have achieved. Feel proud. Yes, I have done something for Mother Nature. Like our mother, we take care of her. So who is going to take care of her? Only we, because we use all our resources. Pancha Mahabhuta, we have not only we use resources, we're exhausted. It is totally exhausted. Gentlemen, this situation is bad. That's why I say you must do it, maintain, try and wherever possible, you reduce that. Like what Prime Minister said, like in Man Ki Baat, I told you, all water body management, you must do it. Wherever it is. Suppose आपके नहीं है तो नहीं है, but आपके एरिया में जहाँ पे अपने दोस्तों को इकट्ठा करो. कई लोग करते, you must be reading in a paper, coastal areas are clean, lakes are clean, rivers are being clean. Do it. Why? Maybe work for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, alternate day, every day, whatever, do it. Don't feel sorry when the final 2030 comes and says, yaar, ये तो college का कहीं भी जा नहीं सकते. The things are so bad. And another very important thing I mentioned up to you is your oxygen bars. That is your tree plantation. Is you required. Don't go for decorative trees. You must have seen these gulmohar trees everywhere in India. Beautiful flowers, beautiful. Observe it. Not a single bird or animal makes his residence on that. No nests are being built. It's not Indian. It's not Indian native plant. They know it. They know it fully well. It is not our plant. So they don't do it. So nowadays, government is also telling, people are telling, we are telling, please, whenever you're doing tree plantation, use the native plants. And then our attitude. Like air, our attitude is towards water also. Use and discard. Pani aaya, khaya, piya, chala bhi gaya. Not interested. But then we have gone through. Kahan se? Otherwise, your availability will reach such a critical position. You have to make your own water available. Nobody is going to come from anywhere. Not the government of India, also not the Pune Municipality. You have to save yourself. It's plain and simple. Recharge, I told you, collect every drop of rainwater. Through rainwater harvesting system, recharge the underground water table. Reuse that, take out that water along with the whenever there is a need, and whatever is the 65 liters of the grey water which is generated every day, recycle that. Reuse that water for the flushing, for gardening, for cleaning the vehicles. Conserve the water, every drop of water supplied to you by the Mother Nature or by the Municipal Corporation. Use it judiciously. Don't throw it. Go back to good old system. गांव में जाते थे तब लोटा और प्याला में पानी मिलता था. इतना चाहिए उतना ले लो. पानी बर्बाद नहीं होता था. Now we are giving a glass and then thoda jhota pani फेंक देते. Conserve the water, gentlemen, and only black water, that is through your commode, is a black water. It is only discarded. So let us change. Let us change our attitude from use and discard to recharge, recycle, reuse, and conserve. And then finally discard it. I hope I cannot order you, friends. I cannot force you to do it. It is your life. As a good old senior citizen, you want to do it, please do it. Maintain a lock and show it to your parents or show it to your friends. Encourage them to do it. Or if you're so bold enough, at the end of during the next World Water Day, your college should feel proud and do not invite people like us, but you own yourself, you should be able to say things about this. Yes, our students have done this, and this is what we have achieved. It will be a golden letter day in your college history and in your life also, friends. Okay, gentlemen, I don't want to waste more time because I want to interact with all of you, whatever I can do. I have taken much more time than required. So friends, yes, go ahead. And before we end, I'm really thankful to Dr. Jayashree and all her staff, including Yash, that giving me opportunity to share my views with you. And forgive me for the very lengthy talk. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I must confess that this entire exposition has revealed how the firm resolve of an Indian Army man and the forward thinking of a wise and prudent man can actually yield rich dividends for the entire humanity. Sir, we are actually flooded with questions because of this entire very informative session. Sir, we've chosen some of the most prominent questions, and one of them being one of these. In India, 600 million people face acute water shortages, and the demand for domestic water has risen by some 35% since pandemic due to hygiene awareness. What strategies could be adopted to tackle these shortages?
You know, Niti Ayog says that 60 crore or 66 crore people do not have access to, not because of pandemic alone, right, for ages now, do not have access to safe drinking water, and also do not have access to safe sanitation and hygiene facilities. Pani nahi to sanitation hygiene is zero. Now what we are supposed to do is what I told you. That poor person also stays in a hut. Help him to recharge the rainfall falling on his hut and save the water, which he can use. Gentlemen, it is not only for the multi-story buildings, rainwater harvesting for everything. This is why when we move to big, village areas, we do the same thing. It is available to you. Only thing is that poor person, those 660 million or 600 million people, as it is, they are below poverty line. ऊपर सब पानी नहीं मिल रहा है, खाने के लिए एक टाइम की रोटी नहीं मिलती है, तो कहाँ से मैं वो थोड़ा बहुत भी सामान कहाँ से लाऊंगा, कौन करेगा? You and me are supposed to do it, friends. That is how you have got NSS, you got NSCC, you got youth groups. What are we doing? We are not using only this mobile and or the laptop and sitting in front of it. Move out during your holidays. Go to your neighboring where your relatives are staying. Discuss with them. Ensure that they accept it. This is the only solution. Only you and me. Solution is there. Mother Nature gives you water. Save that. There is a groundwater table. Do not unnecessarily take out the water. If you take out the water, allow it to percolate down. That is plant trees. So if you have to plant trees, tree also require water. So this is holistic approach one has to take it. And who better can do it than the youth like all of you, Yash? You are supposed to do it. This is what the solution for that.
Precisely, sir. Precisely. Once the youth gets involved, I think even the most tedious tasks become simple. So we have one more question with regard to the per drop more crop, the statement which you had given. Sir, how significant do you consider the usage of drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation in ensuring water conservation?
It is a huge, maybe about 2 decades back or 3 decades back, we have people are starting in India using the drip irrigation, but still it is not 100%, because what we are doing is flooding. Our irrigation is known as flood irrigation. पानी छोड़ देते हैं, मसल नोटिस very well. पानी छोड़ देते हैं, रात भर पानी जाता रहता है. Requirement may be only 20 to 30%, but other water is wasted out. So everywhere, the foreigners also telling us, or our old people also telling us, even for the cash crop like sugarcane, you must use the drip irrigation system. So only required amount of water should be given to its roots, and not complete flooding it. The complete plot is flooded. Not required. Similarly, sprinklers, especially for the vegetables, etc. You want the water should be sprinkled around. Again, flood. But people are not using it. They are doing it. Nowadays, there is a revolution taking place. MBA students or the engineering students are entering into the agriculture field. They have realized the importance. Though vagaries of nature are there. Like last 2-3 days in Marathwada or Nasik area, huge untimely rainfall is taking place, and suddenly you will find your entire crop is wasted. But that is what is Mother Nature's vagaries. We are responsible, not going into details. You can use, again, that's what we have to go out and tell the people importance of it.
Yes, sir, precisely, sir. So there's one more question. With 2021 being projected to be an El Nino year, what are your suggestions to overcome the reduced monsoon which India is expected to receive in this year?
Nothing you and me can do other than conservation and rainwater harvesting. Because El Nino and other things are taking place. I mentioned to you about during those global warming slides that the ocean is warming up rapidly. El Nino, or these phenomena are taking place because of the change in ocean temperatures. Now ocean temperatures are increasing very, very rapidly. Like I told you, because so much of energy is going in, you and me can take only precautionary measures. It is going to happen. Nowadays, people, what the scientists say, we must prepare our younger generation. You cannot prevent global warming to be happening. The carbon dioxide generated today in Pune is going to last 100 years, because life of the carbon dioxide is 100 years. So even if I stop everything today and start not using the fossil fuels and use only the alternative energy source, the huge amount of carbon dioxide which is already there, which is going to damage my city's atmosphere, whether it's air pollution or otherwise, is going to hurt me for next 100 years. So it is only thing you and me can take the precautionary measures. We can take precautionary measure, whether it's a construction of a building or whether it's your agriculture systems, irrigation methods, or conservation methods, how to save every drop of water. Otherwise, we wouldn't have reached this stage if we wouldn't have started about 30-40 years back. But then we thought कि पानी बहुत है. So we cannot fight El Nino. That let the government decide what they can do. We are talking about the electric vehicles. How many vehicles you see on the road? Minuscule amount of number. In 50 lakh, hardly few hundreds vehicles, maybe electrical vehicles. But that is what is required to be done now. That is required to be a call for that. But that is it is. Otherwise, so no. I always say, friends, good thing. Yes, you people are asking, but go from basics. अपने घर से चलो. मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट से, अपने रिक्वायरमेंट से चलो. जो पानी मिल रहा है, लीकेज मत होने दो. तो मैं बोल रहा था, वहां से चलो. साइंटिस्ट वगैरह को ऊपर का देखने दो, खुद देखो. और जब खुद अपने आप को ठीक कर देते हो, फिर दूसरे को देखो, फिर मोहल्ले को देखो, आगे चढ़ते जाओ, and you will find change taking place.
Precisely, sir, precisely. So we have a lot of questions, but I guess we have space for just one more question. Sir, what are the institutional arrangements according to you through which the youth can be streamlined into water conservation and other facets of nature conservation?
That is how the UGC and ASAT policies will come in. Train the students. That means implement the project. Seeing is believing. मैंने इतनी बकबक कर दी, but अब बोले क्या बोल रहा है यार बूढ़ा आदमी, ये क्या करेगा पता नहीं. But if you see it in your own campus, that this is what is implementing. When implementing is being taking place, involve the students. Check them on कैसे कर रहे हैं यार, ऐसे कर, अच्छा ये पाइप यहाँ ऐसा आता है, बोल रहा था मुझे, मैंने सुना था किसी का लेक्चर वेबिनार में. Involve them. So when they pass out, start utilizing water conservation methods like putting up the nozzles in the taps, so that you get a water with the pressure but less amount of water. So you are able to save more water. There are various water conservation methods, but then you have to do it. If you've got hostels, ensure it there are no leakages. Students should be told, and you can pump it, if there are more hostels, then you can put the meters and check how much water they are using. Methods are plenty. This is where institutional supports are required. Institutions should work, call the experts, take their advice, and accordingly change, make some with the existing system little bit here and there. And then you will find the results are coming and students will go out. They will, NSS students, they will learn from here. You can organize a camp in your neighboring village. Wherever Bharati Vidyapit is there, some neighboring village you can identify, speak with them, and these boys can go there, and they can help them for water conservation, rainwater harvesting, irrigation methods ke liye. Whatever we can give information to them, they can do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, in addition to what you just said, sir, I'm happy to inform you that the New Law College boasts of having a completely solar-powered electricity supply. And equally along with that, the NSS wing in our college has consistently taken the initiative of cleaning the dirt which is around in Pune, in the urban surroundings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is right. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is rightfully said, for anything wished from your heart, the entire cosmology gets behind it to make it true. Sir, in your august presence, and in tandem with with our illustrious tradition of the Environment Cell, may I now request everyone to please switch on their cameras, place their right hands on their heart, and repeat after me what we call as the water pledge. I take an oath to conserve water
I take an oath to conserve
water
and to use water wisely.
and to use water wisely.
I pledge to consume water judiciously
I pledge to consume water judiciously
and not waste even a drop of water.
and not even waste a drop of water.
I'll treat water as the most precious treasure that I possess
I treat water as the most precious treasure that I possess
and consume it accordingly.
and consume it accordingly.
I pledge to motivate
I pledge to motivate
my family,
my family,
friends,
friends,
and neighbors to use water wisely and not waste it.
and neighbors to use water wisely and not waste it.
It is our planet
It is our planet
and only we can save it.
and only we can save it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
very
friends.
much, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Dhanyavad.
May I now request Anshika to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Yash. Indeed, this pledge has filled us with the resolve to commit ourselves wholeheartedly towards the cause of water conservation. Now we shall proceed with the vote of thanks. As all good things come to an end in life, so is this webinar. On behalf of Bharatiya Vidya Peeth, deemed to be University, New Law College Pune's Environmental Cell, I take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to those who have directly or indirectly contributed to this webinar. At the outset, I would like to fondly remember our founder, Chancellor, Dr. Patangrao Kadam sir, because of whose blessings this webinar has been a great success. I would also like to thank our chief guest, Colonel Shashikant Dalvi sir. Sir, we are really enlightened with your knowledge. I would like to thank our principal, Dr. Bhagyashree M. Deshpande ma'am, who conceptualized the idea of having a dedicated environmental cell in our college. I would further like to thank the head of environmental cell, Dr. Jyoti Dharma madam, and the faculty coordinator of environmental cell, Dr. Jayashree Khandari madam, who have been the pillars of support in all our endeavors. A special thanks to the organizing committee, that is the environmental cell, teaching and non-teaching staff for their unflinching support and coordination. Our heartfelt thanks to all the students for their active participation. With these warm words and a kind message, we move towards the end of today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anshika. Thank you, friends. Nice talking to you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, sir.
God bless.